Today's video, we're going to talk about how to use free trial marketing to make massive sales and profits online for your business. It makes any PPC you're doing better than it was before. Now, I'll start off by basically giving you a basic idea of what I'm talking about here, which is if you sell a water filter like we have and we've done here, and I'm going to talk about in today's video here to demonstrate just how profitable this is. You're going to, instead of selling the water filter as is and say, here's a water filter, you should buy it, it's so great, here's why, you're going to actually sell that freaking water filter to somebody after they've tried it for free. Okay, this is something that used to be done all the time back in the day, but all of a sudden recently, people just want to sell that product as is, and if you don't like it, technically you can return it, but hey, there's no free trials on anything, there's no guarantees on anything. You buy it sight unseen, that's it. There is a lot more money to be made in that and a lot of other markets by simply saying, here's the water filter, you buy it from us if you try it for 30 days and you like it. And I'm not talking about you buy it and then we'll refund you after 30 days because people don't trust you're going to refund them, nor do they want to work hard to get a refund on top of it. And it doesn't say anything. When you have the balls to offer a free trial, what that is basically saying to the user and what they are ultimately thinking, which is why it works so well, is this product has to be freaking amazing or they wouldn't be offering no damn free trial to me in the first place or to anybody, which is why it makes so much money. You focus on getting the consumer to give you their information, their credit card information, and put it on file so that at the end of the 30-day trial, if they like it, they can buy it. If not, they don't have to buy it. You just have to simply return it. We'll pay for the return shipping. There's literally nothing you have to pay for if you don't like this water filter, which, by the way, the reason why this works is it preys on people's laziness. Guess what? Once they get a water filter, they don't want to return it because that requires them to put it into an actual box and put it out on next to the mailbox. Even though you allow them to print off a shipping label, they still don't want to do it. So, and yes, a bunch of people return it. 15% or so are going to return it. But the amount of how much easier it makes to get a conversion once you switch to this model will make up for the 15% that want to return it. And that's about the same amount who's going to return anyway, for the most part. If your typical return rates are 5%, you're going to get 5% to return it. Once in a while, the credit card isn't any good once you go ahead and bill their card, which is why you can add a pre-authorization to the card. Check that they have the money on file. If it's a $1,000 product, you ding their card with a pre-authorization to make sure they have the money, to make sure they're not fooling you that way, but you actually clear that, you take it off their card, so just so that you know in 30 days they're likely to have that money. That's the model I'm going to talk about in today's video for you to be able to try out for yourself and see how much it makes. Most people, 99% of people who I tell this information to are going to right away say, I'm not doing that. Somebody's going to end up ripping us off. But they're broke and they don't consider being broke bad enough to try it at least once for their business. Yes, there are people that want to rip you off. It's not nearly as much as what you think. The legitimate people that want to buy from you are going to buy at triple the rate than if they didn't have that free trial that you're telling them up front that they can have to prove how good it is. That's the magic reason why this makes money. It's not that they actually want a free trial. It's you have the balls to tell me you're going to give me 30 days to try this product, and that's what matters. Or if you want to get even more ballsier, you're going to have a 200% money back guarantee. You literally double their money back, which that works beautifully as well. Particularly in high margin products where you have 80% margins, legitimately give money back and you still end up ahead on the few that do actually not return the product, which you'll get a bit more fraud, but not nearly as much as what you would typically think. I'll talk about these different opportunities that, case studies of where we tried this before so you understand what the opportunity is for your business, everything that goes along with setting this up for your business as well. So I'm Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, a online advertising agency that offers guaranteed results to their clients. That is to get them more profits from their ads up front before we charge our clients a management fee or a certain minimum level of profitability from their ads before charging a management fee. No other agency on the planet has the cojones to do it, so like the topic of the video, we actually have free trial, if you will. We know how powerful this is. When you're the only one in your market offering it, it really stands out and it really works. The fact that we offer a guarantee to our clients should say something about the quality of the information on the video I'm sharing here, because this is stuff we use to guarantee results for our clients if they're going to allow us to actually do it, and not just like most people, like I mentioned before, think, oh, no, I can't offer, no. And then they end up just never making the millions of dollars that they could ultimately make having a good offer for customers in their market versus, hey, I do this. Corey, what can you do to get this to work when 50 other people do the exact same thing? And the answer sometimes is, yes, you can try to make the ads as good as you want, but you're going to grow so much quicker if you have a better offer too. So you take a boring product and you change up what you're doing with free trial just being one way to do it. You're going to make everything you're going to do with your advertising absolutely freaking easy as hell, as compared to just offering that product. And this does work for services as well, just offering that product or service straight up. So with that said, here's the old way that it's not really old, because back in the day, when you saw commercials on TV, they would have free trial. You send a check to them. You don't cash that check until the end of the 30 days. This is how free trials used to be done. Nowadays, people don't think about this anymore, and anything you do that the customer wants that your competitors are not willing to do gives you a massive edge. So why wouldn't you want to take advantage of it? The old way that people are doing things that don't have any balls, basically, is they're offering their product on their site, and either the sale is made when the person gets there or not. What happens is people say, oh, I got all these people. Sometimes, not everybody does this, but a bunch of people are very ignorant, and they think, oh, I got 100 people to my site, nobody bought. Why isn't it working? The reality is most people who get to your site, and the more expensive a product or service you have, the more time it takes for people to decide. Regardless, most people aren't going to buy the first time they come to your site. Why? Because they're going to look around other stuff. When you have a free trial, though, going, it's so unique, they'll just go ahead and take advantage of that right away. Versus, I wonder what else is out there for water filters. And then they end up just never coming back to your site. And the money you spent to get them to the site was just, you're literally paying to educate them. Free education. They look at it as, oh, they got a free trial. I had to give them something for free. Therefore, that was tangible. Therefore, I don't want to do it. When really, what you're doing anyway, when you're too obtusely like that, is you end up giving them free education, showing them what a product could be, but no immediate call to action to get them to do business with you right away. Which is why, by the way, everybody does flash sales, and it gives them a reason to act now versus later, which will typically always increase your profit from a campaign, because people love procrastinating. The new way to do things, if you're a serious online marketer, is to offer a free trial, and you say, just enter your details here, and we'll ship out the product to you for free. You make it seem really easy, like just fill in your email address. Naturally, that's just the first step of the process. The second step of the process is give us your credit card. We will not bill it until the day 31. Or you call them up. That actually works a little bit better, because people are a little bit sketchy still to give you the credit card number. If what you're offering is good enough, you can just have it all through the online, through your website alone. Typically, you get them to enter their email address and phone number. Then someone immediately calls them, which there's technology that allow you to do that. Immediately call your salesperson. They say, oh, you're going to be very happy with our product. This is why you see the results. You'll know why you're going to want this product. In order for us to send out this trial, we do need to get your card on file. We're not going to bill it. If you don't like it, we're never going to bill you. We need the card on file to ship it out to you, because, of course, the deal is day 31, we do have to bill you for the product. Obviously, we can't send products out for free. Here, we're still trying to make money, but we know that if you try it, you're going to want it. So therefore, we're fine with sending it to you for 30 days up front just to check it out. And that says a whole lot about your company that you're willing to do that. So that's the new way. Now, what you do is they fill out that form. 60 seconds later, you call them and ask them 10 to 20 questions, pre-qualify them, because here's where people get stuck. I tell this to people all the time at our firm. Nobody hardly wants to do it compared to who should do it. Most people should do this. Very few will actually do it because they think they're going to get scammed. Oh, I'm going to get maybe even my competitors are going to go on there and request products, and then they're going to scam me. It's like the last the worst thing in the world for some of these business owners is they got ripped off by a customer. Oh my gosh. It's all down to numbers, baby. Does the math? Is the ripping off that you're getting offset by the increase in sales and conversion rate you're getting? If it is, you're stupid for not doing it, bottom line. And what baffles me is they don't spend a couple $1,000s to even see if this is a working method or not. You don't have to do this forever. You throw up a little landing page or test page on your site, you throw 1,000 clicks at it, see what happens. If it's anywhere close to where it needs to be, you just tweak it a little bit, and now you have a new method that's much more efficient in taking a click and turning it into a sale. But the scam part actually will get mitigated tremendously if you've got a good process, vetting process, which is why I recommend you actually call them. Anybody who wants to they weren't interested really in a water filter that much, going back to that example, they just wanted a free trial, they're not going to be willing to answer 10, 20 questions on the phone. And you could ask them, why are you getting the water filter? Okay. Oh, you want it for fluoride. Well, and this could be an adaptive survey. What was your initial thoughts on how you were going to fix this problem? And how much were you willing to spend? And you go through the entire thing, then they get the free trial, but only then. That weeds out a lot of the people from getting the free trial, okay? And naturally, people that want to rip you off would need to have a credit card with enough money on the card to be pre-authorized, like I was talking about before, which we'll check to see if they have the amount of the product on there. Ultimately, not pay you, if you will. Yes, people can get a prepaid Visa gift card and give you that, and then you send them the product, and then they don't send it back, and then you can't charge their card. People can rip you off already with chargebacks. All you got to do to rip a company off is just go buy the product, then ship them a brick, charge back the card. It's not that hard to know. If you are dead set on scamming somebody, or send a broken product back that they get off of eBay. Many ways to do this. The effort it's going to take to go find a prepaid gift card, put the appropriate money on there, then come back and ask for the free trial. This is 1 to 2% of your orders, your free trial requests that you're going to get. And then it's just again, it's just the math. Yes, are you going to get scammed? Yes, you are. Is it going to be 20% of the people who want the free trial? No, it won't. And especially if you put them through the ringer up front to make sure if you're sending out a product for a free trial, you got somebody who you can legitimately help. Part of the reason why you ask all these questions is you find out if that product will actually fit their needs or not. Okay, you want it for fluoride, right? Okay, well then if that product gets rid of fluoride well or not. And if it doesn't, you tell them, okay, well, this product isn't right for you. See? So most of the time that they're going to actually ship it back, simply gets fixed by the questions you ask and having a score, if you will. If the customer doesn't score over 70 out of the possible 100, you don't ship them no free product in the mail to try, because it's likely just to come back. And you come up with your own little formula so that unless you have a grand slam prospect, you don't ship them no free product. Or you say, yeah, you can buy it, but sorry, you're not eligible for the free trial. You don't tell them that, they may not be eligible for the free trial up front, but you use the questionnaire to vet them, so to say. And that will get rid of most of anybody who's going to return it. Doesn't get rid of the scammers completely itself, but anybody who would likely to be able to return it fixes all that, basically speaking, especially since when somebody does send it back, you can look at the questions you asked them and the answers that they gave and use that to adapt your questions to not give a product out to a person like that in the future. But you pretty well know who your ideal customer or client is. Figure out some questions to ask them, so if they got a free trial, you ain't just offering it to anybody. We did it for our own business, and like I said, this works for services as well. If a client at our firm isn't doing at least $1 million a year in sales revenue, and has at least 5 employees, and has at least this ad budget, we don't offer a free trial. Why? Because it's probably going to fail anyway. We figured it out. You can figure it out for yourself as well. You ask them the questions, then you can send them out the product or set them up with the service trial. What you're typically going to find is about 15 to 30% of the people who get the trial, whether you're talking about product or service, going to keep it. which that may seem like a low number, and it kind of is if you think about it. I can tell you for a fact that the amount of increase in conversion rate you're going to get with a free trial for many, many, many different products and services is going to be huge. Being able to sell somebody a $1,000 water filter, you maybe only get, I don't care how optimized that campaign is, 0.1, 0.2% of the traffic, 0.3%. You switch to a free trial and guess what? You're going to get 2, 3, 4% of that traffic. Same traffic, different offer, to actually opt in for the free trial. So instead of potentially selling to like 1 in 500, now you could sell to potentially 1 in 50. So it's 10 times the response, literally. Then, yeah, only 25% of the people kept it. But you started out with 10 times more people to sell to, so to say. So you ended up, if you're doing the math in your head here already, you ended up 2 to 3 times more profitable than you were before, even accounting for the people that you had to give them a shipping label to send it back, the couple people that scammed you. This is even easier for you guys that have higher product margins, because then you could get scammed. You have a lot more room for error. So to say, I don't want to scare you, because it's truly we did it for water filters, and the amount of people who didn't send it back and that we couldn't bill the card, couple percent of the people who bought, or that we shipped the free trial out. The chargebacks are, you're going to get, just like you're going to get chargebacks and all that, you're going to get people that are going to legitimately fail to pay you. Another thing you can do, by the way, is you can say, hey, we tried to bill your card, it won't go through. You need to give us another card. If not, we got to report you to the credit bureaus, because technically we gave you a loan for the product and you didn't follow through. Let them know that, and you're going to get people to just basically either pay you or send it back. The couple percent is really just people, when you add that little piece on there, is just the people that were out to scam you legitimately, outright, if you will. Which, if it did happen to you, you may be thinking, well, what if somebody gets the product and then they try to do it again and again to you and whatever? If somebody rips you off, just don't sell it to anybody in that county anymore. So they would literally have to run their scam in like a multi-county scam, and that will fix that right then and there with that. Anyway, it'll get like 25% of the people, 30% of the people to just buy the product. A lot of people will send it back, but your response, your conversion rates are going to be probably 10x what you started with when you offer a free trial versus ask them to buy upfront and that's it. Because it's very easy to get somebody to just request a free product, essentially. In their mind, they're thinking, I don't even have to buy this right now. Hell yeah, I want to try it. Even though they know it's expensive if they have to buy, and they all kind of think that they're going to ship it back. Worst case. They're not thinking about the price necessarily. It's way easier to sell something expensive to somebody after they've tried it than before they tried it. It's just how the world works. Which, by the way, if you wanted to know in your specific case whether a free trial is the right way to go, or do a 200% money back guarantee, or to offer a 25-year warranty on your product when your competitor doesn't offer it, to make a good offer for your advertising or whatnot, reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. I'll speak with you about the opportunity. We can also guarantee a certain amount of results with what you're doing if you want to work with us, but we can have that conversation. Also, though, we've been offering ad templates. If we've already done your product or service before, you can actually take the winning version of the ads, landing pages, campaign templates, copy paste those into your ad account, and save yourself a ton of time and money figuring out the stuff that we had to figure out on our own. And after years of running those campaigns in your market, we've worked in over 100 niche markets in the last 10 years of running our firm. And therefore, with that, we've been literally selling the copy paste templates for different industries, which you can know up front what kind of results you're going to get with it before you ever bought the template from us outright. It's a great way to even start a business. If you want to have a turnkey business, start with a winning ad template to sell an item you can get from China easily and sell it in the country our client isn't in. Start selling leads, as we've had people do. If you want to have a passive income business idea, start figuring out how to start a lead selling business, selling leads that you generate with our template super cheap, and then selling the leads for 50% more per lead to somebody in that industry, or 100% more, and mark up the cost. We've had several people do just that, which is why I brought that up here in this video. But if you're interested in those templates, you can also reach out to me at guaranteeppc.com. You also can obviously leave me a comment in the comment section and ask me about your situation. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, typically within 24 hours time. So with that said, I mentioned the highlight of this video was going to be the actual use cases where we did a free trial before. So as I mentioned, been doing guaranteed PPC for over 10 years now. We've worked with hundreds and hundreds of companies now. Some of them I can convince to do this, some of them I can't. If you actually are the one that does this in your space, you'll probably be the only person who will ever do it, which will maintain your edge you've got once you know that this will work. Because most people's gut feeling when they see that is they say, how the hell can they offer a free trial? They don't even have the balls to even try it. They won't even try it, no matter how small the risk is or how big the upside is. Because they, in their mind, think that business should be all about them, never about the customer, and that the customer should just buy. And if they don't buy, oh, that's somebody, an advertising's problem to get them to buy or whatever, which sometimes it is naturally, but why make things any harder on yourself than you need to when you could just make a better offer, end up making it 3 times easier for yourself to make a sales funnel work or an advertising funnel work for your company. Starting out in the video editing space, I mentioned this can be done in services as well. We literally had a company that did video editing itself. We targeted people on Google who were looking for video editing services. Not only just buying searches, but if somebody was typing in how to hire a video editor, we would also have ads show up for people there saying, video editing service, try before you buy. Really compelling offer, which when everybody else is saying, video editing service firm, video editing services, $4.99 a month, and then we say try before you buy. Guess what everybody almost is going to beeline to? If I'm hiring a video editor, I am very happy that I'm going to try this service. Again, it's not about I'm cheap. This must be a damn good service if you're willing to offer it for free just to get my business, ultimately. Yeah, some people are cheap bastards and they want to get free because they like free stuff. But that's where your questionnaire comes in line to make sure you've got somebody who ain't buying it just because it's free, that they just legitimately like how you operate. That is, you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, basically. Video editing. We got cost per lead of $8. Closing rate on these leads. Once we got the lead and got from lead to paid customer, indicating that some people didn't get through the filtering process as I described before. Some people did not hire us on a paid basis for anything. 6% got all the way through and did hire us on a paid basis for at least one other job in the future. Main highlight here is that you may say, well, a bunch of these, we're doing a bunch of work for people and it's a waste of time. If you take all your emotion out of it and think like a rational man would, you can't call yourself a man if you can't make business decisions on a rational basis. $8 cost per lead is ridiculously low. If you look at what the cost per click in that space is in general, you can easily pay $50 to $100 a lead just with the straight up service offer. And we're paying $8 a lead with that offer itself. So yeah, a bunch of people never ended up being paid clients, but even if you were to pitch every single person that came in that think they're going to hire you on a paid basis, they're still only closing at 15%. And the reason for that is because now you're one of many. They know you and him 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 all do the same service, or, company, if you will, other companies. Whereas you have the free trial, you're the only one with it. So there's no way to compare you with anybody else, legitimately, unless they really don't know anything about how some services are bad or good. You've just made yourself the default option. So your closing rate is going to be higher, not lower. And then of course you still got churn on the back end. Some of these guys thought they were going to get more than what you can offer legitimately, but that's part of the system. So that gives you an excellent example of how this is done and how well it can actually work. We sold exercise equipment before. Okay, in that case, same thing. Try it before you buy. 30 days, get your card up front. You can use this thing in your home for 30 days, which in the exercise equipment world, the average amount of time that somebody will use exercise equipment before they give up on it is 2 to 3 months. After that, they really have already given up on it already. And with that, people don't like to admit their failures. So once they get the thing in the mail, if you're just doing a 30-day trial, they're not going to admit to themselves that they're such a big loser that they ordered this thing and after 2 weeks they're ready to give up on it. And that's where kind of the beauty is. Which, by the way, if you found out you were getting too high a return rate, all you got to do is just make the window of time that they have to try it shorter. I never got this client to even do it, but what they should have did was we should have tested a 7-day return or trial, 14-day trial, and 30-day trial. Absolutely squeeze out the maximum value we can out of this. The shorter the trial, the less good the offer is going to seem naturally. But the higher the response or the higher the return rate you're going to get on the back end, because a lot fewer people obviously are willing to admit they're a failure in 3 days as soon as they get it versus 10 days versus 20 days and all that and the like. So we got a cost per lead on this thing of $15. Again, extremely cheap. And this is for a product, by the way, that's hundreds of dollars. Not thousands, but hundreds. Closing rate on those free trials to a paid customer was right around 9.5%. Pretty low, mainly having to do, though, that this is exercise equipment and people don't like exercising. It's easy for people to not like it just because they don't want to work. They're lazy. And I don't care how good the equipment gets you results, people are lazy and they're going to return it at a high rate. The good thing is with this product, it wasn't like a big exercise bike that's 500 pounds and returning it's expensive. And in that case, you may have to only do a 7-day trial for sure on that. But this was something that they could return for $5 to $10. And so if they could return it all day, in terms of cost of that shipping label, having to give them a $5 shipping label, it's not that bad. Anyway, that gives you another perfect example of a market where this has worked in the past and how you can do this for yourself as well. I talked about water filters. I just want to let you know that if you want to know the inner workings and the details on the rest of this, that you need to be profitable in your niche market. That is how to write the right ad copy to go with your free trial. Landing page copy, what places to advertise specifically. Is it Facebook or Google or whatever for this? Watch the rest of my videos on this channel. There's better information on this channel about how to make millions of dollars a year running ads for your business, and you're going to find anywhere else on YouTube and on the web for that matter. Why? Because I know I look around, I'm myself looking for good information, and most all the information you find out there is garbage. The people giving it to you don't run ads, or they run a couple ads and they're not in the trenches actually doing it, and specifically specializing in just the strategy side of it, which is all I do at my firm. I'm super rare in that I do real ad strategy all week long, and then I share on the weekends what it is that exactly works and what doesn't work. If you're going to pay attention to anything, you want to subscribe to this channel, you also want to check out my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog has even better information technically, because I break it down step by step there with screenshots, with everything. Replicate the strategies we're using to guarantee results for clients at our firm. So definitely check that out as well if you're serious about making millions of dollars a year running ads for your business. Water filters, okay? So on this, we had a product about $1,200. So you're thinking like, well, who the hell would buy a $1,200 water filter? And I'm not talking about a whole house unit even. This is a countertop unit, okay? We had $22 cost per lead, whereas before, we're paying hundreds of dollars per acquisition, okay? Several $100s per acquisition. $22 a lead, and we got 14% of the people to close into, that is, they didn't return it, and we actually got their card billed. With that, we're only paying about $150 or so for an acquisition on a $1,200 product. So basically a 10-to-1 ROI, which is, in the e-commerce world, that's fantastic, especially for this product because it's a high margin product. Generally speaking, when you sell products online, you're better off going with higher quality made in the USA than you are going with cheap quality, because there's so much competition for selling the cheapest one that it's actually harder than just coming up with a premium product with, instead of a 40% margin, a 70% margin, so you can spend more on ads and do things like I'm talking about here, where you offer a free trial and can absorb a little bit of people returning it. So anyway, there's another great example of how you can use a free trial to help make more money in your business. The last example here, leave me a comment in the comment section below if you don't know what to do in your situation, or if this will even work then. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question on this channel within 24 hours, and I don't care what your question is. It can be any marketing or advertising related question. I'm more than happy to give back to my viewers, just as a way of saying thank you for watching the channel and helping the channel grow. So the last example I want to talk about is in the testing equipment space. We're talking about like lab testing equipment, that kind of thing. This one had a much higher cost per lead, $210 cost per lead on items that are 4 to 5 figures in cost. 5 to 10,000 at the lowest on the low end to $10,000, $20,000 kind of on the higher end. That's kind of the general range of what we were selling. So obviously a cost per lead is going to be higher because any market where you sell whatever you're selling is worth more money, the market rates per click is naturally going to be more as well. Not to mention, it's just harder to get people to say yes to a more expensive item than a cheaper item. And you can't fight that. So $210 cost per lead on our offer of just saying, where everybody else was saying, hey, here's our product, call us. We're saying, we're so confident in our brand of products, we'll literally ship you these machines to your location for free. And you can use it for 90 days. At day 91, of course, we're going to assume that this is serving your needs. We're going to bill you, but you have a full 90 days to test this out. And when you're trying to figure out how to spend $15,000 for a blood analysis machine, ultimately, you've made the decision really easy because as somebody in a business, people don't want to make a wrong decision. Nobody ever got fired by hiring IBM because if IBM, you're never going to get blamed because anybody that was smart would have hired IBM versus some other no-name company. So many businesses, they only grow by 10% a year at most because everybody there is just trying to do mediocre to not get fired. And you should really be careful of that as you grow your company because once you start getting some mediocre people in your company, the good people that you could even find, they're not going to stay because they don't want to work with average Joes. Anyway, if you're trying not to get fired though, you got to realize on a business to business sale like that where you're selling to businesses, you got to placate the person who doesn't want to get fired. It's not just about which one has the most power or whatever. It's what's the most or least likely to be screwed up product out there. And if you're the biggest brand, you're on easy street already. What do you do if you're not the undisputed number one player in that market? What do you do then? Basically, in that situation, and this was a client who resold. It wasn't the manufacturer of the equipment, but it was like a dealer, essentially. But how do you convince somebody to buy a certain brand of product isn't the obvious number one option in the market to placate that person, the manager who just doesn't want to get fired at the end of the day? Well, they can try it out in their own lab and there's no risk so that they know the company isn't going to get boxed into something. They can get the benefit of saying something that might be a little bit cheaper so they can get a few more pieces of equipment for the budget that they have, but not to be taking a risk so you can they can buy more so on the stats of that product, power versus, and do it confidently because they know if they test it out, it's not going to be screwed up and they're not going to have to spend money shipping it back. So that right there helped tremendously take over most of the ad space that was available in that market. Your goal is to make more money from the ad space than anybody else so you can afford to run your ads more than anybody else. This is just one hack to do it that helped, basically beat everybody else on that front of taking a click and making more from a click than anybody else. $210 cost per lead. We had 23% of people buy from us. So once in a while they would have to take the equipment back, but for the most part, as long as the equipment isn't a lie, it does what it's supposed to do. Not a lot of people are just going to want to send it back. Okay. Now still, you got a pretty high percentage of people that are going to ship it back. The amount of people are going to buy when we've got a $10,000 to $15,000 average equipment sale here, right? Now we're talking about a $210 cost per lead, a $12,000 piece of equipment for $1,000 in advertising cost, or an 8% marketing cost. We're doing really well still. Whereas most people are going to say, oh, what if they return it? What if they return it? You're going to say, I don't care if they return it. I know 30% of people will return it, but I don't care because the cost per lead is going to be so ridiculously lower than anybody else trying to sell to them right away or nothing. You're going to make all the money from the ad space because you can now outbid everybody else because you got a legitimately better offer that helps the consumer more and gives them confidence. Now, obviously, you can't polish a turd here. If you send out a substandard product, this isn't going to work, which if that's you, why are you just not selling the better product? Or sell the better product and go this route with it. Like I mentioned before, you'll basically make more money in your company every time because there's a lot of people jockeying the cheapest price. It's more competitive than the high end. When you combine the high end with good margins and a free trial, you've eliminated all your competition at that point in time. Nobody else is going to offer a free trial. On top of it, you get them a product they really like that they're going to like most of the time. How could you go wrong with it? Other than, yes, somebody might scam you or whatever at some point in time. And you got to vet your customers. And if you're talking about, a $10,000 piece of equipment, you got to really know who you're dealing with before your goods out to them. But it's not outside the possibilities of things that can be done. Don't ship your medical testing equipment to a company who's not at least $5 million a year in revenue. At that point in time, you could actually check the credit as well, which is something that particular company also did. So there's different variables that you can add into this formula to make sure your rate of fraud is almost none. Just like Shopify has built in a fraud algorithm that says this person's not likely to pay and charge back their card or it's a stolen card, you basically create your own formula or algorithm to determine if somebody's worthy of sending that free product or service out to them or not. And when everything kind of lines up to a person who normally keeps it, then you ship it out, and then people that don't, they don't get it. But you could start out super inefficient, tweak the questions, and end up with something that's way more efficient by the time you're done, which is how you make this work. Most people think that, they might get scammed, and you will get scammed sometimes. When you get scammed too much, you just tighten it up. Make it even more hard to get the trial. Make sure you don't ship the product again to anybody who's in the same general vicinity. Check their credit, which is an option, like I mentioned before. So anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Hope that really puts things into perspective on when you run ads, making more money from ads, putting yourself in position to make millions of dollars a year from ads. It's not just about who the ad gets shown to, which everybody wants to focus on that. You can only get so efficient that way. If you aren't making the kind of money that you want to make, or dial to crank is how to make the website convert better. Start with designing it better and getting a real expert to design it for you. Or you just simply make the offer better. You'll make generally more by making a different offer than you will tweaking the design once the design has been made by an expert already. And versus, let's use green for the button instead of orange and doing all that crap. So anyway, with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Remember when I said free trial was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.